Good afternoon, folks. Robert Chappell here, Executive Editor of Madison365 with your daily update for Tuesday, March 22nd. 3/22/22 is the date. Today, not particularly special. It's just fun to say. It is a rainy and dismal little day here today, but we've got some pretty decent news still on the COVID front, especially. Things are basically steady and steadily declining. Right, we're not seeing the rapid, sharp fall that we saw through the month of January, February, but we are seeing a continual decline in terms of cases and in some of the other metrics. So we'll just talk through those really quickly here. New confirmed cases per day is now down to 331. Yesterday it was 350. Right, so that's it's a decline, but not as steep a decline as we've seen before. We don't have that far to go, though, right? That's still like a 7 or 8% decline, which is nothing. The positive test rate is 2.7%. 2.7% of all the tests in the past 7 days have been positive. That's the same as it was yesterday. It was basically 2.8 and 2.9 all of last week. So again, that one also is more or less steady and slowly declining. The 7-day average of new deaths confirmed per day, and again, these are deaths confirmed, not that happened per day, but that were confirmed per day this week. These deaths actually happened in the past month or so, is down to 9. It was 10 yesterday, it's 9. It's been 9 or 10 basically the last month or so. Been pretty steady there. Hospitalizations, also steady. 235 people currently hospitalized. That was 224 yesterday, so that's a slight increase. But we've seen that a few times in the hospitalizations, where there's a number of decisions that are made. The decision of whether to hospitalize somebody or not is kind of a subjective decision made by a doctor. So it's been going down, 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 down. It goes up for a day, then it continues to go down. That's happened a few times in the past month and a half, 2 months. So I'm not concerned about that going up. It's still only 235 people hospitalized. 41 of those are in the ICU. That's which is down by 2 since yesterday. So all of that is very promising. Now we will reiterate that we're hearing about this BA2 variant. I think there's some desire among mainstream national level media to keep you just a little bit scared, to keep you tuned in. Okay, I don't want to do that. I'm not terribly concerned about BA2. It is a large proportion of the new cases in some areas, but that's still not a lot of new cases in those areas. Right? If there's 300 cases a day and 70% of those are a new variant, and there are 300 cases tomorrow, like the variant's not hurting anything, especially because it's actually a variant of Omicron, which is not as deadly as Delta was. Okay, if there's a surge of BA2, if there's a second Omicron surge, it'll be very disruptive. It'll be very dangerous. It'll be very scary. It'll cause hospitalizations. It'll cause a lot of death and hospitalization among unvaccinated people, and probably among some vaccinated people who maybe don't have the strongest immune system or who were vaccinated a long time ago and didn't get the booster. Right. All that said, we're in such a state now, this is not going to be another Omicron surge, I don't think. Okay, Delta was still going when Omicron started. When Omicron started, we were at 3,800 cases a day. We are now at 331. There's just not as much virus out there to spread. So I don't, this whole time, these 2 years, I've been honest with you. I've tried not to scare you. I've tried not to downplay it. I'm just telling you, I've tried to be as factual and clear as possible. Right? So BA2 is a concern. I'm not terribly worried. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And we'll let you know if things start to get bad. Right now, I think we're okay. So let's talk a little bit more about some other news. Over in Madison today, there was a press conference at the Madison Black Chamber of Commerce where Governor Evers came by to hand out some of these big fake prop checks, which are hilarious, I think. You can't take those to the bank, actually. just so you know. But pictured here are Camille from the Madison Black Chamber and Gina Stevens of the Rock County Jumpstart and Alnita Allgood from the Collaboration for Good. Camille Carter, I'm sorry. I could not remember Camille's last name. Just completely I lost Camille's last name. Camille Carter, Gina Stevens, and Alnita Allgood. 3 of the organizations that received funding from the Department of Administration. Also among those organizations, the Latino Chamber of Commerce, the Hmong Chamber of Commerce, just a whole bunch of those kind of business development organizations, the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And the idea here is to put some state money into business owners and entrepreneurs, not just the business owners, but the organizations that support the business owners who are marginalized, who are underserved. Right. So the Rock County Jumpstart has been working on a shoestring budget for 5 years or so. And they got $1 million, just over $1 million, which is for over the next 3 years, which is going to massively increase their capacity to support Black and brown business owners, Black and brown business owners in Beloit area in Rock County. The Madison Black Chamber of Commerce got $5 million. Now this press conference was just about 2 hours ago, so I don't have a story up yet. So you're the first to hear about it. But the story will be up tomorrow morning, and you can see the whole list of recipients of these grants from the state. It was a total of about $57 million invested from the state in these organizations that support entrepreneurship and business ownership in these marginalized communities. So it's a really big deal. Also today, I have a conversation I had with Erica Nelson about youth incarceration. This is Lincoln Hills, if you don't recognize it, the youth prison up north. And as part of our Lasting Impact series on the long-term changes that are happening because of the pandemic, this one specifically about youth justice. There was a study done that the Kids Forward, this organization here in Madison, did a study and talked to a bunch of people who work in the system, looked at some numbers and some data, and basically, beginning of the pandemic, they stopped arresting kids. And it proves that you don't have to arrest kids. So they talked about diversion, they talked about other strategies to keep kids out of custody. Also, they found that counterintuitively, it makes more sense that you'd want your mom to come visit you if you're a kid in jail. But as it turns out, what they learned during these 2 years of pandemic is that a video conference, a Zoom meeting with your mom, is actually superior in some ways, because your mom doesn't have to drive to see you. Your mom can see you more often because she doesn't have to take off work to come see you, or whatever. And you can also see your house. You can see your home. You can see your more than one person. You can see your brothers and your sisters and whatever. So interesting insights in these studies that have been done in the past 2 years. And I've got that story up at Madison365.org this morning. Also today in sports, Forward Madison has acquired Alan Torres from on a season-long loan from Indy 11, which is the USL Championship level, the second division team in Indianapolis. He's 18. He is an academy product. He came out of the Indy 11 Academy, played on the first team in Indy 11 last fall, and there's the last 3 or 4 games of the season last year on his academy contract, and he signed his first full pro contract with Indy 11 in January, and has now been loaned for the full season to Forward Madison to get more playing time. Finally today, in national news, Ketanji Brown Jackson is before the Senate Judiciary Committee today again. Yesterday was just the opening statements, the bloviating, and the the grandstanding. Today she was actually taking questions, which is basically the same thing. It's the senator's grandstand, and then she responds. I did not watch it. I didn't feel the need to watch it. To be honest, like I said, there's a lot of grandstanding. I did follow along on Twitter, and if you want to get a sense of it, and obviously the Republicans on the committee are attacking her record as a public defender. making some sort of insinuations about her sentencing practices, that she might be soft on crime, which kind of doesn't matter on the Supreme Court. You're not doing criminal cases on the Supreme Court very much. You're interpreting constitutional issues surrounding criminal cases quite often, but whether or not you're soft or on crime or not doesn't. I don't know. I guess maybe it does, but anyway, she's expected to be confirmed after a couple of days of testimony, but it is still illustrative to keep an eye on the hearings. Like I said, I didn't sit through them. It just irritates me, to be honest. But I think it's important to be up on it. So you should, we've got basically a synopsis of today's hearing up on Madison365.org today. So that's all I have for you. Again, the COVID numbers are fine for right now, but we're going to keep an eye on them. And I'll be back tomorrow with more news for you. Follow us along at Madison365.org all day long for all the latest news, as well as on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, your social media channel of choice. We've got all the news coming your way. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.
This is 365 Media.